oh, I promise you, if you do anything, Russia will you. I will.
You would have thought, like the US military and army would the next day would be landing there. Yeah.
I was worried. I thought we were going to get a world war. Babe, they attack like this US first. No, I didn't say all those things, no. All right, welcome again. Welcome back, guys. It's episode 27 of the Think Talk podcast. Super excited today, and I do not have a headache today, so good stuff. Ibrahim, I think you have a headache. I'm so sorry. I try to keep it as bubbly as possible, so maybe it helps with the headache. But yeah, today we have a few interesting topics to discuss. It's again the same theme, right? When you're in a Trump's tenure, there's so much continuous news and updates and all that stuff. But again, this week there's a lot of political topics to discuss, and we still have some of the more social ones as well. Now, the first topic for today is an interesting one, because it tells you what the new world order is. We live in a new world today, and the order of that world, the main topic around that world is bringing a lot of things to surface. And the first topic is about the Munich Security Conference 2025 that just finished. I think it was last weekend. There's a bunch of things that have happened. One of the biggest headline was how the Vice President of the United States, JD Vance, came in and gave his speech. And his speech was so hard because it went straight for the jugular of the European leaders. It touched on three main topics. The first one is saying, guys, your democracy in Europe, whether this is true or not, we will get into that conversation. The second thing is the way you guys undo migration, and it doubled down on that. He also used the example of the terrorists that ran into people in Munich, saying this is one of the effects of your terrible migration policies. And the third thing that he hit on was your security, for God's sake. You guys just rely on us, and I don't think we're getting something good in this exchange. And it went straight for that. What then happened immediately was at least the German Chancellor and the potential new German Chancellor, they came up to say, no, you're wrong. Our democracy is how we do it. It's good enough for us. We are making progress or whatever. But what's most importantly wrong is if there's something wrong with our democracy, and this is the interesting part. It goes, if there's something wrong with our democracy, for our sovereignty and our independence, it's not going to change, or it's not going to be influenced by an external factor. If we have to fix something, we will see it internally, we will fix it internally. JD Vance, shut the hell up. Do you know why this is funny to me? It's funny to me because when the West was together, when the US and Europe, when they were friends, they would speak out about other countries' system of government. They will speak out about other countries' democracy. They will influence externally. They will demand for change in other countries. Now that the tables are turned, Europe's argument against the US is don't interfere in what does not concern you, because this is our sovereignty that we're talking about. What are your thoughts?
I watched his response. I was really impressed. I thought, I don't know a lot about him. He's just he's the guy living in the shadows of Angela Merkel, right? She was this very powerful politician, and he had to step in after her, right? So it doesn't really have a lot of public aura in that sense. But that for me, I felt like okay, I like this, because for sure, if anyone is to critique any country's politics or democracy, it's definitely not the US. I don't know what they think they have going on here in the US, but in 2025 they are not the example of what a perfect democracy should look like, So I feel like that was definitely spot on. And for sure, if anything should change, it should also come internally. And also talking about if Europe if they have like, what sort of democracy is it, like a good one? I would argue that, yeah, maybe the US should learn a few things from them, because a lot of the countries, they've managed to look out for their own people better than like what you would see in the US. So I'm not sure what they are gunning for here. I feel like they are trying to rattle like everyone to make them small, to make them surrender sort of. So, but I think, yeah, it's good to see this sort of clash, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that lives in Europe, at this point we have enough European experience somehow, right? As someone that lives in Europe, I was proud of Olaf. Yeah, I was looking at it and I'm like, yeah, give it to him. Yeah. And I was proud of the potential new prime minister as well. I think it's Weindel or something. I forgot his name now. At the same time, I was looking at it and I was thinking, what has changed now is simply the way the US views Europe. Because for me, it's the same way Europe would look at Nigeria or South Africa and say, oh, you guys should do this in your democracy, or you guys should do this type of system of government, or the way they used to look at Russia in the communist time, or the way they would look at monarchies and stuff and say this is the right way. And that bit, people used to think it was coming from the position of there's a right way to actually do it, but instead it was coming from a position of superiority. Exactly. And giving advice. Suddenly the US now sees themselves as superior to Europe, and now they have all these things to say about the European politics and European system. And as you rightly said, my perspective is as well that I think politics and policies in Europe are a lot better for the greater good compared to what we have in the US. So the effrontery of the United States Vice President to say, you guys are doing shit down there, I think it's massive. Yeah. Now, another interesting thing that went on top of that, do you know, now they go, don't tell us what to do, you're an external party. But then, because of the security conversation, Zelensky now called out to Europe saying, you guys should band together and invest more in your militaries. Yeah, invest more in your own security outfit. Now, this is another external party that's not part of the union, calling out to the union to say, do something. By the way, there was no rebuttal to Zelensky for saying that. Yeah, but again, Zelensky is still an external party for the union, and it's basically calling out X and X to them to say, do this, do that. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, Zelensky is a guy that I never took seriously. I mean, I don't respect him as a leader. I don't know how he got there, but somehow he did. But yeah, I saw his speech. I'm like, he's just a clueless guy. I mean, you went ahead and tried to do all this NATO stuff and this and that. I mean, I don't also want to talk like a politician or whatever, but him saying that just shows you that he doesn't really know how the world power or like how politics is being done, right? He thinks like sentiment and all these. I don't like the guy. I just feel like,
yeah. I see what you're saying. For me, as an European taxpayer, I would also not be happy to see that an external party outside the union is demanding to spend more of our tax money on military. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, for it shouldn't be Zelensky telling the EU or the governments of the EU to spend more on their military. It shouldn't be Zelensky. If they come in internally and make that decision because for X and X and X, okay. But at the moment, it just seems like Europe is a ball being kicked around from left to right. They cannot make their own thoughts, and this is also why the German Chancellor's Olaf Scholz's rebuttal to JD Vance was very important for me. Just to remember again that the EU is a world power that stands on its own and they can make their own decision, and that definitely does something for me. The third bit that JD Vance shouted on was around migration. Yeah, and it's going, the migration policies of the EU is shit. And then he gave example of, again, as I mentioned, the attack in Germany and all that stuff. And I was thinking, what does it mean when he says that it's Yeah. Because as an immigrant myself, Ibrahim, I'm tired of, coming. I'm in Germany here, right? I work super hard. I pay a load of tax. I pay a load into pension, I pay a load into health insurance. No one is doing me a favor by being here. I think I contribute to the society just as much as anyone. It's a functioning society, and I'm happy for that. But I did not come in here asking for handouts or anything like this, you know. I thought the world was a global village and we could contribute from anywhere. We could participate in the world from anywhere. And I came in legally and, you know, participated in only legal stuff since I've been here. I haven't committed any crime, and I contribute to the society in a huge way. Even if it's just from the tax perspective. So I'm happy if there's a shift towards, well, people that migrate to this country, they migrate here because we have a win-win scenario. We need that labor, and that's why we allow the migration to happen. So if you come in and you do good stuff, well, thank you. And, you know, we say thank you to each other if there's a reason to do so. Do you know what I mean? But this idea that as immigrants, we all have to come here and feel like, oh my goodness, thank you, my Lord and Savior. I'm tired of that rhetoric. And I don't fully understand where Vance is coming from when he says that the EU migration policy is because it makes sense to an extent that the EU does not see migrants as the bane of the society. It makes a lot of sense. And fast forward to the people that actually come in because they are being saved by the EU from maybe a terrible regime in their country or something or the other. It makes sense from the humanity perspective. Are we saying that this should be completely thrown out the window? I still really don't understand.
I mean, for sure, I feel like that's what they are definitely going for. When you hear anyone talk about immigrants this, immigrants that, it's just like everyone is trying to be pro-country now. This whole globalization, I think the movement ended a while back. It's like, let everyone go back to their country and let people of like origin or like, you know, be here. So for sure, if you're asking if they are saying, they shouldn't help, 100%. I mean, I've always made this statement of want and the need, right, by a country. Most people living in a country, or most citizens of a country, right, they don't really understand the fact that their government are just using some data to see that, we have this gap and we can fill it by immigration, right, by bringing people from all over the world that are experts in this and that, and they just feel like it's like a favor. It's not. When it comes to like, you know, like coming for school and working afterwards and all. So lumping everything together also is also a problem. Even if it's like for maybe like refugees and asylum and everything, then I don't want to go into some conspiracy like of how even developed countries also contribute to a major part of developing country or third world countries' problems and headaches and some war-ridden things. You know, it's like we all see things going on, right? So I think at this point, you can't just eat your cake and have it. Let me put it that way. I don't want to go into details into whatever that means, but
no, I mean, let's get into it. Like the eat your cake and have it bit. Let me see if you don't have to be the one to go into the details, but let me see if I understand what you're saying. Let's say as the US contributes to funding a terrorist group or funding an opposition within a country, and let's say this opposition wouldn't have had the opportunity to topple the government without the American support, but they got American support, they toppled the government through a war strategy or whatever, and now the whole country is upside down. When you do something like that, you receive some benefits, whether it's the fact that country is no longer a threat to you, or whether, I mean, something influences the US to participate, whether it's access to their natural resources. And we'll have Exactly. And we'll have a lot of conversation about that when we talk about the Ukraine-Russia situation and Israel-Palestine situation as well. Whether it's all that. So you get some benefit, and now the human beings that you have thrown because of your high-level view of the opportunity, there are people that are now collateral damage. These people now, you're saying, we don't really care, because I think this is what they sort of use to make themselves feel good. They take that high-level view, they create disruption, and at least they say we accept asylum seekers. I mean, to the media, the disruption, the influence of the West in that disruption being possible is never made public. But if you look at the areas where weapon companies exist. Yeah, the fact that when those restructures happen, sophisticated international weapons are involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no way that there's no involvement of the West or something, or of an international party. Yeah, and that's where the asylum thing then comes in, as in that way at least you are not doing the eat your cake and have it bit. But now you're saying we're going to do all that, we're going to get all that benefit. There's nothing that we're doing to repatriate anything. We're not supporting anything when it comes to the people that have been affected as collateral damage.
100%. There's nothing done to anybody or any country that is free. It's like there's something to be gained. Whether it's like image, whether it's direct profit, whether it's just the perception, or like the optics of things. Nobody's just helping anybody. It's like So you can't just act like, oh, even that now we are going to take it away because we are
it's just a favor.
Holy, exactly, like it's a favor, exactly.
Because I remember when the UK decided that if you studied in the UK, you have to go back home once you're done with your studies. And then they cancelled that. They used to have the idea that if you studied in the UK, you have 2 years to look for a job, you can settle here. Because it's quite expensive. They charge international students a horrendous amount of money to study. And then they changed it because they thought people actually come to the UK because our education system is so great. It's so great, and people want to come here because we are such a great country. And then they changed the law, because it no longer favored them to have international talent competing within the UK. They changed the law and said, oh no, now once you're done with your studies, you have to go back home unless you got a job that sponsors you immediately. And then it was actually their university commission that started to lobby against the House of Commons, saying, hey, we make so much money from the international students.
Yeah.
And that money is how we have managed to continue to run our institutions. So we need to make sure that we make it attractive for them to come. They were literally attracting internationals. Yeah. It's the same with Germany. We have the pension system in Germany where it's the working class that pays the pension of the retired people. It's not a contributory system where, they were saving something and the government just gives them a part of that saving or whatever. It's really, there's an amount, they calculate what you will potentially earn as pension, but it's coming directly from the monthly pension deduction from the working class. Yeah. Which means that when you have more retired people than working class people, you run into the problem that pensions are not getting paid. Now, the way Germany have tried to fix that is, let's increase birth rate. Let's increase even the amount of time that you have to work for. Yeah, so now people will work until 67. Even Nigeria, people only work until 60. Yeah, in Germany now, people will work until 67. 67, bro. Yeah, because they want to keep as much people in the workforce as possible. They keep thinking about all those solutions, but I think in the long run, the solution that still looks the most sustainable is, let's make sure that we have enough labor to pay for that pension. Yeah, so they are inviting and making themselves as attractive as possible. Even some places, they are reducing the requirement for German and other stuff, making themselves as attractive as possible for internationals to come, because labor is required and it's an important part of any economic model. To now turn around and want to make that seem like it's a favor and it's not a win-win for both parties, that's a little bit sick. And I appreciate that majority of the European Union, majority of at least the leadership in Germany and many other countries recognize that, and they are not as extreme in their view of immigration as some other countries. So for JD Vance to come and speak right to their faces like that, I find it also disrespectful, but okay, that's what it is. When all those things was happening, I remember that we talked about Elon Musk being definitely more influential and powerful than the vice president of the US. But after the last week, JD Vance is showing that, nah, this is not a two-man seat. We have three of us here and we are powerful, because that guy was bold. Yeah, it was bold. What do you think about this whole, let me use the word aura again now?
Nah, I feel like he's just being naive and being disrespectful on purpose. Maybe that was what he was thinking that made him go all out like that. And I'm for sure, Trump would like stuff like that. So he knows like my boss definitely would love this. And also to make people realize that I'm still the vice president, not like Elon or whatever, because Elon feels like even as powerful as the president now. But that was just a discussion, right? He's not really doing anything still. It's not like what Trump is doing and just making this whole new thing and cutting budget and laying people off. So it's like, this is my best chance to do gra.
It could have been done by the media aid as well. But yeah, I mean, as everyone has said, that he could have been a little bit more diplomatic in the way that he has handled that, and I don't think he did that very well. Still on the conversation of politics here, there are a few other important things that have happened. The first one is Trump's approach to trying to end the Ukraine-Russia war. A lot has happened. Trump has had, at least America has had a lot of meetings with Russia on how to potentially end the war. There's been some proposals made. So one of the things that Trump has made as a proposal, which I'm curious to hear your thought about it. One of the things that he has made as proposal is, look, Ukraine, we're happy to protect you because you need protection, but it's not going to be coming as aid anymore like what used to happen during Biden's era. And considering how much you've gotten as aid during Biden's era, for our protection, you need to give us a huge cut of your natural resources, mineral resources, yeah? And it's about 50% of the mineral resources that Trump is demanding. So there's an entire area of Ukraine that Trump is saying, well, we want that stuff, yeah? And that's your... Trump is acting like a medieval overlord. That's your payment. That's your tax for protecting you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
I'll take this back to the previous conversation of acting like you are helping or you are saving anyone. This is just a direct example of what we just said about US instigated this whole thing, this whole war. It would have never happened if Ukraine didn't have, America's like backing to just to be like, go for it. Now it's still the same US now trying to save you and getting a portion of your resources. Now they are like, oh yeah, Ukrainians can come to the US, you can get this and get that. Now they are like, oh, thank you, my lord, and stuff. But this would have never happened if you guys didn't support this, So, but at least kudos to Trump trying to stop the whole thing. But his
method, the way he's trying to do it. So let me put it this way: the characteristics of how he's trying to do it is like Trump is too logical about it. Right? So he's throwing away all the emotional part and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like he's saying, look, I'm only looking at what is the power dynamics. Who do I need to have a conversation with to stop it? Right? Because one of the biggest issue is they have been having conversations about potentially stopping the war, but it's only been Russia and the US in the room. And this again brings the question of sovereignty and independence. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. How is it possible that the US is having a negotiation about the peace of Ukraine without Ukraine in the room?
Yeah.
It seems like a very small issue, but it's such a massive one, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Like the US is sitting with Russia on ending the Ukraine war. And they're like, what about Ukraine? Let's ask them if they would like this idea. When we're done with this conversation, we'll go back to them.
Yeah.
That's a big issue. And that also tells us what the war was in the first place. I've always used this particular word. Yeah, Ukraine and Russia has their issues. And these issues, they had their ways of dealing with it. They had their ways of limiting escalation. They had their ways of doing all these things. But Boris Johnson and Joe Biden decided to support Zelensky in pushing for the escalation.
Yeah.
That Ukraine has managed at least considerably well. There were issues, but they have managed it. They have managed to not make it an all-out war. But for sure, it became an all-out war because the West wanted to use Ukraine as a proxy against Russia. At least this is my perspective. Because they clearly, I remember a few days before the attack, Biden was there in the middle and he's like, oh, I promise you, if you do anything, Russia, I will you.
You would have thought, like the US military and army would the next day would be landing there. Yeah.
I was worried. I thought we were going to get a world war. Babe, they attack like this US first. No, I didn't say all those things, no.
Yeah, he's just a puppet. He doesn't know how to play the power game. He just stumbled upon this position because he's not equipped. Bro. He's not equipped.
I'm telling you, the entire West started running around. We is going to send something. Putin came and said, if anybody send anything, we will fight to death. Like, hey, no, I didn't. But why were you so vocal before the escalation? I don't understand that bit. And then there was that Nord Stream O issue that the US is potentially a suspect. Yeah, basically they thought, well, if we don't blow up that stuff, maybe Europe might still be in conversation. Europe might still be engaging with Russia because of the oil or whatever. And that stuff just blew up. It's not something that they can just restore. And you understand, randomly, yeah? As if the US were doing this proxy stuff. They needed this war to continue to go on like this. And I think the agenda of Biden was different. But a new president comes again, and it comes with a different agenda again. The one thing that is very clear within that agenda is someone is winning. It's not Russia, it's not Ukraine. It's the US, right? During Biden's period, it wasn't the US, it was him and his family. I'm sorry, this is just a speculation. Allegedly. I beg. Allegedly. Allegedly. Biden, his family, Zelensky, those guys are multi-billionaires at this point. Maybe Elon Musk doesn't have as much cash as Zelensky as we speak. Because I remember before the war, Zelensky was voted top 10 most corrupt president before the war. The war, bam! Very good ratings moving forward.
Now he's confessing he got like, and out of the 200 billion, he got like 70 or what. What are you then suggesting or claiming?
Why didn't he say it then? Why did he not say it then? Because now, another president have come in with a different agenda, right? The agenda initially was personal gain. But now, Trump is coming for, national gain. If we go back to how much we have sent to you, we need that piece of land. Calculate the worth of that mineral resources. We have given you more money. And now he's shouting, no, I didn't get all that money. Where did the rest go? Taxes? What? This is aid. It should be non-taxable. Where did it go?
I didn't even say taxes. He just said I didn't receive most of the public donations they mentioned.
Where did it go?
I mean,
where did it go? Why are we just being told now? When he did not receive it then, why did it not shout out?
Exactly. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy, man.
One of the things that came out of the meeting, with Ukraine not being in the room, was that Zelensky should do another election.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that guy is still there, man. He mentioned it yesterday, actually. He's saying, they say I should step down. I'll probably step down. Dude, just step aside, man.
He said there are legal reasons. Majority of Ukrainians do not want him to step down. They don't want an election. So they carried out a survey, and about 84% of the respondents says, no, we don't want an election during the wartime. Because you are not allowed to have an election when there's martial law in place. And since 2022, there's a martial law in place in Ukraine. Now, data will tell you that Russia has lost more soldiers than Ukraine and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not even ready to talk about that. Yeah, whatever it is that we're feeding ourselves in the media, that's all good. But also, data is showing that Russia now occupies about 20% of Ukraine. This is massive. I don't see how. I've been thinking about it. I don't see how this war ends up as a win for Ukraine without a world war.
They somehow have to beg Putin, which is what Trump is trying to do. He's like, don't worry, I'll talk to him. It might not look like that, but they have to, because if not, because the US is not ready to go in there directly, that will be a world war, right? And if they can't do that, Russia will keep getting more and more land. That's just the truth.
No matter what the casualty is, no matter, Ukraine will not be able to step to it. And again, Ukraine is now now that the US seems to be pulling out of the support for Ukraine, Ukraine is not a part of NATO yet. What it looks to me is that as long as US remains in NATO, Ukraine will never be able to join NATO, at least not under the Trump's regime.
And they are not part of EU, so they don't have any power.
They're not part of the EU, exactly. Which means the EU needs to be the one really pushing that war and all that stuff. But considering the war, the Iran for AI supremacy and all that stuff, is the EU even capable of funding the Ukraine war?
Nah. They might be capable, but they are not going to waste them. Not waste. They are. Yeah, they are not
so
capable.
many more things to.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And if that's the case, I mean, I know you put it in a funny way of they should go and beg Putin, but I think there has to be a way to negotiate with the aggressor in this case, the most powerful figure in between the two parties, and beg for leniency. I feel like what Trump is trying to do might actually be reasonable to say, maybe even if you massage the powerful side a little bit, maybe they will even let go of some of the land.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe. Because at this point, I still don't see it. And I feel bad. I really feel bad for this situation. You know, I feel bad that Ukraine has been pushed into this situation. I also feel a little bit bad that they don't see that Zelensky has not been fully
faithful to them
on their side.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them feel like, oh, he did it because he stood up against the big bad wolf. But as a president, it's your job to actually not be emotional in that sense. You have to think. The fact that there was a negotiated agreement on the table that Boris Johnson ensured that he did not sign.
That was mental.
I think at that point, people should have stopped being emotional and say, look, we know it's our land, we know it's super emotional, but we need to find a solution that is not this prolongated, that allows us to avoid this prolonged battle where a lot of people are dying.
Exactly. So he didn't know where he stood. This is a chess game. You need to know, like you said also, like you need to know who your boss is. And in that, you know how powerful Russia is. You don't have the strength, right? You didn't do that. Now you have a deal on the table and you couldn't see through, okay, what if these people backing us? What if they backed out? I think why they didn't sign was because of the UK and US behind
Boris
them.
Johnson. Boris Johnson flew to Ukraine the day that it was about. Yeah. I remember very vividly.
So like you should be able to see through all this as a leader and do what is best for your people. Why would you?
For your people.
Yeah. He doesn't know the game he's into.
It's unfortunate, to be honest. I really want all that bit to end. And I know we're speaking from the basis of the information that we have, but we cannot believe that. So we're speaking from the basis of the information that we have. Whether we are right or wrong, it doesn't even matter. It's our opinion now. It's not absolute fact. Zelensky knows what he saw. He knows why he made the decision that he did. But from my own perspective, and from yours as well, from what you said, it doesn't look like he did this for the best of the Ukrainian people. But on the other hand as well, it's almost like the Ukrainian people are happy with that decision as well, right? So we just have to see how the game continues to play on. Donald Trump, on the other hand as well, is doing what he can based on the knowledge that he has and the way he knows how to do these things. Right, and the Europe is also shouting out and say, but Ukraine is a sovereign nation. You cannot just be the one negotiating on their behalf, and they're not even in the room. But the US is saying we don't give a we'll do it anyways. I'm curious to still see how this plays out. I know that sooner or later, we'll achieve peace. But something similar as well has happened with the Israel-Palestine situation. Because the US came and they were like, we're going to relocate all the Palestinians in Gaza, and we're going to build a Riviera, something similar to a Riviera on that Gaza Strip, where people from both countries can come and enjoy and all that stuff. But the US wants to be the one to do it. So they basically, the way Trump put it is, we're going to take Gaza from Israel, which is already a very crazy way to put it.
Yeah.
We're going to take Gaza from Israel and turn it into something like the Riviera, where all parties can come in and enjoy themselves. But Gaza is the homeland of the Palestinians, right? So it's almost as if we're saying, see, I've seen that one. Israel has won. Yeah. Let's not. But the thing is that the Palestinians are going back into their destroyed homes even now. But the interesting thing about that one is all the Middle Eastern leadership, they came up and were like, no, this is not a solution. And Donald Trump said, yeah, that was just, it was the beginning of a negotiation. It's not. Yeah, it's really? A first step. Yeah. So because he tracked back on that one, people are also thinking he might track back a little bit on the whole Ukraine-Russia proposal as well. So, for example, Zelensky already came out to say, well, he would be open to a way that they can share the mineral resources, that they can share the exploration of the mineral resources, but it has to be commensurate to what they get. Not just that the US says, I want 50% of that. I don't care, Like, Zelensky is warmed up to sharing that. And again, knowing the US, is this what is right for the Ukrainian people? Because I don't really understand where Zelensky comes up with some of his stuff. But
I also don't know. I just see this guy, man. Whenever he's speaking, man. I don't know any world leader that I have absolutely zero respect for. The way I feel like I would do a better job being the president of a country than this guy. And I have no clue about running a country,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, as an outsider, it just keeps looking like I'm not sure he's doing the best for Ukrainians. He's doing the best for himself. He's doing the best for the West. But is he doing the best for the Ukrainians? It's a question mark. Yeah? And I remember when this guy, when I got pissed at him, when that all started, was when he was requesting to speak in the Oscars. I'm like,
those are the random stuff that I keep wondering. Why are you doing? It's like, it's similar to the whole, EU should work on their own military or this. It just keeps saying all sort of. It was almost saying they should boycott the US in the statement. Like, why are we even still letting US handle like EU's military? Dude, you don't have a table here, man. We are just even Well, yeah.
When he wanted to speak in the Oscar, I'm like, he used to be a former comedian and actor or something.
I know, comedian.
Yeah, so I was like, maybe his dream has always been to be in the Oscars or something. Because I'm like, well, you want to go and ask Beyonce for what? You want to ask Michael B. Jordan, like, these guys, they're not truly Avengers or anything. They're not superheroes. They're just actors.
They're just doing their own thing.
What are you? What exactly? It's a movie, like VFX and stuff. Like, what are you trying to do?
It might be the PTSD. Because that would make sense.
That's it for the political conversation today. I think the next topic that we have on the agenda is a very short one, but I think I wanted us to talk about it. So last week we talked about how Meta did the layoffs and how Zuckerberg was running around saying the people that were laid off now, they are low performance. This is not a cost-cutting move. This is not a financial cost-saving or whatever move. It's solely that they were low performance. And I think Zuckerberg is now doubling down. He's doubling down on that bit because for the 2025 year, they have just submitted to the SEC that their executives, they used to get 70% of their base salaries as bonus, but now they can get up to 200% of their base salaries as bonus, as a way to push them further to give more to the company and also participate more in the profitability of the company. So all the named executives got that, except for Mark Zuckerberg. And I feel like, to me, this is him doubling down on, of course, this is not money from last year's pay. Yeah, maybe they need to make more money. They need more cash. They all have their targets to hit. But I think this is him saying, if you hit that target, I'm willing to give you more money. It's no problem. Don't worry about me. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's interpret it together. What do you think this means? Is it right? Is it wrong? What's the optics of it? And also, if you tie it to the layoffs, how do they interact?
I mean, is it right or wrong? I feel like with Zuckerberg, I don't think he's necessarily interested in doing what is right or wrong. It's clear that he's trying to fight for his position in the company. Like, first thing first, he looks very, very interested in that, like, the most. Probably because of what happened in the past where they tried to get him out of his own company and stuff. So which is understandable, right? and also to also be on the good side of the current government. Yeah, I don't necessarily know why he must have decided this. He said he didn't also give himself, right? He was like, nah, me, I'm not cool. I don't really. He's just playing games. I think for whatever reason, this is definitely going to make him a lot more money, because these are the guys that will still put a lot of pressure to like the remaining employees to do more, to get better results and make more money for him and stuff. So he's not necessarily caring for the masses or for the most of the employees, but just people who can really change things and make changing decisions, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So they'll pay less salaries. Maybe AI is already creating a lot of efficiency gains. So they see that it's possible. So paying less salaries also ensures that the seniors can make more money. But one thing that I'm seeing as the world goes on is that we're getting to the point where the powerful people know that they're powerful. And they're now at this point where they don't need to hide it anymore. They don't need to... it's almost as if there's been a test on what is the elasticity of the emotional
of the people.
Exactly, emotional reaction of the people. And now they realize, because what Zuckerberg is basically doing is he's not saying we're changing the compensation scheme in Meta, and all employees can now participate in profitability by getting bonuses that are, the cap, by increasing the cap of the bonus for all employees. It's basically saying, I'll care about the senior leadership. They would decide. Now that there's so many people that have been laid off, I'll fire anyone that doesn't, sit tight. So, it's just much more clear that the power and wealth is so consolidated at the top now that we are becoming even weaker pawns. We have been pawns before, but I think we're even becoming weaker pawns.
Do you think it has been like this, or because I strongly have a feeling like it just feels different. I mean, I've never been like my age, you know what I mean? So do you mean like at our parents, like when they were still walking, do you feel like they had this whole feeling? I know they did, right? Because this sort of conversations, I was still very young, they would have it do you think it's now really at a breaking point, or not? Maybe not at a breaking point, because I somehow feel like, does it feel like this thing is going to snap at some point, or
at least from my perspective, I don't think it's a breaking point thing. I don't think it's a new thing, but it's much bigger now because we have bigger companies now. It's much more global news now. We have much more powerful leaders now, much more wealthy owners of businesses now. So it looks even more unfair. But I also think in our generation, we have enjoyed a long period of positivity, that everything almost crumbling now, because there was a time where everything you hear about the workplace stuff is an improvement on an improvement.
That's true, actually.
Right? There's people now make
like
money.
The last decade, actually.
They're now employing a lot of people. There are now more jobs. There's now DEI. Companies are now putting PlayStation. Now, if you see our office complex, it's now a tech campus. Complexes became campuses. We have enjoyed a long period of positive change
of growth,
and of course it takes of growth. And it takes a toll on the company as well. And I think it's more the breaking point for the leadership of companies, because they're like, look. We've participated in all this. Employee benefits, employee enjoyment. We have participated in it long enough. Now we're at the point where I think they're doing their math as well, and they're saying, look, efficiency of labor has reduced drastically, and we need to tighten up again. So maybe what we are seeing is an adjustment as well. It could be, because some of these layoffs, it also tells you one thing: they have too many staff members. For some reason, they hired a lot, because they're not laying off. You will keep a low performer if you need the labor. Do you know what I mean? You will keep an average performer if you need the labor. I've had a conversation recently with some seniors that I know in consulting, and it's basically just the conversation went as such. The standard of consultants since before COVID and after COVID, the standard is a bit less, because a lot of consultants started working from home. They don't know the true consultant lifestyle. And what used to be considered as the expectation in consulting is always excellent or very good at least. But now you have some good guys. They are good, but not excellent. They're good, but not very good. And they are getting what people that were very good in the past used to get. That good people are getting it. Excellent people, very good, are getting what excellent used to get. And now there's no point, there's no reason to be excellent anymore.
Yeah.
So there was that shift as well, whether it's from work from home. So it could be an adjustment. It could be anything. It's just that from the optics, right? To be fair, they're talking about future earnings. They're not talking about how much money that they made in previous year. They're talking about what we make in 2025. But at the same time, from the optics angle, Zuckerberg seems to be doubling down on either I don't care about the optics, or I really need to make it clear that we only fired low performers.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyways, good on Meta. And as we continue to talk about the consolidation of power and wealth, there's another very crazy one that we predicted. Remember when we talked about the Kanye West tweets? And I remember we had that conversation and I said, I won't be surprised if Kanye comes out and say, I'm the greatest comedian on earth. Because I did all this. I just wanted to show you what true power means. You cannot cancel me anymore, right? Because I can say whatever I want now. Bro, he really did that. Last week, he came back out and he said, I said all those things to see how far I can push the limit of what is actually, what I can actually say. To say, I've said these things before, and the effect of the cancellation is just weakening and weakening. It's back again, but now he didn't have to go away for 3 months to be back again. He's even thinking about launching a meme coin. And he literally said it, like, look, I just wanted to test the limit. And he started counting on, I lost this friend, I lost that friend, I lost this very nice, he even said, I love this very nice Jewish guy. The guy that designed the Bianca Censori's nude dress as well was a Jewish guy that also stopped working for Kanye after those tweets. So Kanye, he paid props to them to say, I mean, you're great guys and all that stuff, but yes, it's okay if you leave because, you're with me, but you're somehow trying to control what I can say. And it was like, Spotify as well. I've always wanted them gone anyway, so that's good as well.
Oh, no, you meant Shopify.
Shopify.
Yeah.
Not Shopify.
Yeah.
Shopify. They said, I've always wanted Shopify gone as well. So basically, it's almost as if it cleared ground again. To say anyone that would be within my system of making money, that can influence my bag, that would want to control what I say, I want them gone now. And he said the day after he made those tweets, he made over $40 million. So what are you saying? Yeah,
I feel like everyone should definitely strive to be as free as Kanye. I think he's genuinely free if he can do things like this and somehow bounce back from it.
And get away.
Yeah, because we live in this cancel culture that somehow we've discussed a lot of things, a lot of topics about this whole canceling people here and there, right? So, I don't necessarily agree with everything that he said or, how he tested the limit, but it's something that needs to be done. And someone as wealthy and powerful as he is, I feel like, in his own way, he's doing some good work.
And I think this is the point. This is the lesson that we all have to learn. It's the way we criticize Donald Trump. At the same time, we also praise the good things that he does. I'm not necessarily a Trump supporter or not. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong. There's no one person that is absolutely right all the time or wrong all the time. I think it's okay to nitpick and say, that I don't like. I think Kanye is a great guy as a person. Is battling a lot of stuff and all that stuff. So you might say, I don't agree with what he said there. I don't, that I'm not happy with. But this is not what defines people. What you say has a huge impact, but it's not just that. And I think we need to remember that all the time. It's to say what you said now. The thing is, I haven't cancelled Kanye. I disagree with a lot of the things that he said, but I haven't cancelled him. Because it was also not difficult for me to see that he was trying to test out something that I hate about the society.
I can't cancel it.
I dislike cancel culture. Exactly.
Yeah. Bro, I still listen to R. Kelly's songs, man. Like, why wouldn't I?
Me too,
I enjoy the songs, it's like, why would you tell me? Because it's exactly. We should be able to separate things and not just mumble everything together and just,
And and there's a lot of selectiveness in the way we do it. I watched a movie recently where Jamie Foxx was like one thing that he still does that might be a bit is that we still listen to Michael Jackson. And I'm like, oh, what did Michael Jackson do? And I'm like, oh, okay. He had some of those things that they never finalized here or there, according to the conspiracies and all that stuff. I don't think it did. I don't know if it did it or not. I'm just saying, there were some things. But are you not listening to Michael? You know what I mean? So, there's a bit of selectiveness in all this. Or it's the way they cancelled Chris Brown for so long. Have you noticed that suddenly Chris Brown is now getting his flowers? Look at the NAACP.
He's now winning all these awards. And I'm like... Okay, yeah.
He won Record of the Year at the NAACP, or even Artist of the Year, I think, over Beyonce, over Kendrick Lamar and other stuff. Well deserved as well, because, man, Chris has done crazy stuff,
man, over
a long period of time. Who was behind him still being blocked, and suddenly now he's unlocked? I hate that that's what's happening. That he was blocked and they just unlocked him now. What if he's not as talented as he is and his career was done already?
Yeah.
What if he wasn't as big as a fighter as he is?
As hardworking as he is, man. I was listening to one of this lady on his team. I think she's one of his PR guys, right? And she was talking about this strategy that they had to use at the point when the Rihanna thing really happened. They told him, you can't release anything right now, and we will jump on anyone that comes to us for any features. You cannot reject features for the next 2-3 years. So all that time you would see Chris Brown almost any features. Man, it's I don't think they were even charging for it. It's just keep. They were bombarding. That's crazy work, man.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
There are two people when it comes to talent, and the other person wasn't cancelled or having any issue with cancellation. But I just wanted to point out Chris Brown is on the level of talent, and this other person was Jamie Foxx that you mentioned. I feel like these two guys, when it comes to pure talent, they just have
as artists,
enormous of it, man. How can just one person have this much talent, man?
Everything. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I know what you mean. I just see that. What if he wasn't that kind of a genius? What if? They would have destroyed something that he would have been managing. You know what I mean? Hey, the world is crazy because now it's oh yes, Chris, take it all. It deserved this thing 5 years ago. It deserved it 7 years ago. It deserved it 10 years ago. Why now? I'm happy that he's getting it now, but he has lost stuff. Anyways, Kanye is showing us that you can't get to the point where you are actually not cancelable. And it all boils down to money. It's also speaking to the point that I said we now have this consolidation of power and wealth. There's so many billionaires today, and they are all so powerful that we, the weaker pawns, we are even weaker and weaker because too many sweats up there, man. Over 2,000 billionaires. Over 2,000 billionaires, or was it even 4,000? I forgot when we checked. That's crazy. It's good that we have so many of them, but then also the amount of money that some of them now have.
I think the interesting thing also is that I think because it's very possible to consolidate your wealth in such a way that it doesn't necessarily need to be tied down to you directly, that makes it a lot more safer than maybe 100 years ago where your money might be probably in your name, and when you get cancelled, for example, you might lose everything. So these guys, most of the billionaires and really wealthy people now, that's why I think they are really even feeling much more powerful because
their money is
just tied in this secured
everywhere.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing. It's everywhere. I can't imagine that. We know all these companies that Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk owns, right? But I can't imagine that he's not a limited partner in so many PE and VC firms as
exactly.
well. He has money in hedge funds and all that stuff. And those guys are putting their money in everything as well.
Yeah.
So even if you use Colgate toothpaste, maybe Jeff Bezos makes money somehow indirectly. Elon Musk or something from P&G or whatever, who makes Colgate. Right, because there's investment going and then just the stock market as well. There's just so much that you can do. And I think at that point it becomes impossible unless you want the world to shut down. I want to get there one day, guys. Let's keep pushing and working hard. We'll get there. No?
Keep watching us. Make us the next 2 billionaires, right?
Yeah, make us. It's not now that. No, but I need to clarify that it's not now that you make us and then we'll say one thing and you cancel us. So if that's how you want to do, if you want to make us so you can control us, I beg hold your views. Yeah, because that's how they go. Oh, we made them film. Like, make us because you like that we are independent in our thoughts process. Yeah, make us because you like that we will say whatever it is that we are thinking, wrong or right. It's not that we are always wrong or we are always right. It's just that we say how it is. We allow for this open discussion and free room to discuss things. And we love in comment section as well, whether you disagree or agree, put it out there in a respectful way, and everything will be acceptable. I think at some point when we start having guests here, you will also see that we will take all sorts of guests. Yeah, we might argue, but it's not to say that one is absolutely right or wrong, unless we say that I believe. But even if I say that I believe I'm right, it's still just my belief.
Just my point of view. Yeah.
Exactly. And lastly, this is a topic that I really wanted us to discuss, Ibra. It's about the 50 Cent and Big Mitch situation. Yeah. So what has happened is 50 Cent, if anyone doesn't know, Big Mitch is the founder of the BMF, the Black Mafia family. And this Black Mafia family back in the days used to terrorize. They were popular in the hip-hop space. Not for the good things, but because it's one of those people where you go to their city, you have to go pay props to the overlord and all that stuff. And Big Mitch, the founder, was arrested and he got a 30-year sentence. Now, it was serving his 30-year sentence, but he came out recently after 15 years. But before he came out, that we won't discuss whether he came out because he snitched or whatever. That's not even the most important point. Before he came out, 50 Cent reached out to him for the life story because he wanted to make a series called BMF. Yeah, the series is literally called BMF. And 50 Cent got the right to do this with Tammy Cohen because Tammy Cohen, this woman, had the rights to the life story of Big Mitch. But 50 Cent did not do just that. What he actually did was he took the son of Big Mitch, it's called Lil Mitch. He took this boy and put him in acting school for 2 years. After graduating from acting school, made him the lead actor for this BMF show, playing his dad. And this show has gone on for 3 seasons. We were expecting the 4th season. Now, what happened is that when Big Mitch came out of prison, Big Mitch decided that he would be friends with... it was with 50 Cent when he first came out, and then a week later, he was hanging out with Rick Ross. Knowing that Rick Ross and 50 Cent have this big issue that they've always had, Big Mitch was hanging out with Rick Ross. 50 Cent flew up, like, what's this? Yeah, no loyalty, nothing. Yeah, hanging out with someone that I consider my enemy. Yeah. And 50 Cent flew up and he was going at it, went at Big Mitch, went at Lil Mitch. Now, when this was happening, Big Mitch was trying to explain, oh, no, it's not that. 50 Cent was like, oh, you snitched. This is what happened with Tammy Cohen. I don't even want to get into that story because, anyways, you came out early from a 30-year sentence. And Big Mitch was like, no, I didn't snitch. Big Mitch was supposed to have a welcome party, but that welcome party was cancelled because a lot of people didn't turn up for it. They didn't buy the tickets or something. Now, when this was happening, Lil Mitch was apologizing to 50 Cent saying, oh, I didn't do anything. But 50 Cent, for some reason, decided that, nope, I don't care. Yeah, that's your father. For him doing that, whether it is, there's something iffy here. And he wasn't wrong, at least from my perspective. Because Lil Mitch, in the last week, has been hanging out with Rick Ross and Floyd Mayweather. Now, he didn't just hang out with them. When he was hanging out with Rick Ross, it was, that was him basically now taunting and saying, yep, I'll hang out with your enemy, 50 Cent. But then he also hung out with Floyd Mayweather and posted a picture on Instagram and then captioned it, The Real Power. If you don't know, 50 Cent is also the executive producer of this TV show called Power, and the whole franchise of Power. So that caption of The Real Power was a very direct, subtle attack on 50 Cent. So Lil Mitch really chose a side. Given what Lil Mitch has done, what 50 Cent have done for the family, he actually claimed that he has put at least $5 million in their family pocket. Given what 50 Cent have done for their family and all that stuff, what are your thoughts about the whole thing and Lil Mitch's behavior?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, definitely. I don't think 50 Cent is in the wrong here. He's a street guy, regardless of how much wealth he has now. He's still someone with that instinct. He's still someone who is watching from that lens of like street wise and street OT, if you may. You know, it's like you'll be able to sniff things like that and suspect some things. I feel like him acting and everyone saying, "Oh, he's probably 50 is paranoid or this or that." You haven't lived this life, right? 50 is 50. I mean, we know some of his story, right? Like, we know some of the things that he has been into. And for someone like, I don't want to compare him to like to a drug cartel or some drug lord, but you know, they came in, this like retired gangsters, you know, if they have even retired, you know. Well, yeah, you can't, nothing is off the table. You have to understand that they are about that life. So they know what it means. There are codes that like of conduct, right, where they are from, and even if you know in gangs, that's the most important like thing when you are like a gang member or a gangster. It's the code. They don't care what your feelings is saying or what might have happened. The code is the book, is what you live by, and he has that. So even Big Mish himself hanging out and thinking and trying to say it's not like that. Yeah, you know this life, so you know you are treading. Maybe, yeah, you're like, it's not what you think, but you know you are in that gray area, right? You wouldn't say you didn't know. So why even dance around that sort of situation when 50 is your bag and you know he has a problem with this other guy? I mean, I feel like he's just a stupid guy, the Lil Mitch boy. I don't really know him. I don't know his roles in like some of the series in the TV shows. He's probably feeling, some people who act like that, they're probably thinking, oh, he owes me. My dad owns the original whatever of the name or the trademark or, you know, things, you know, this.
That's not how it works, right? The moment
Exactly.
50 had the right to shoot it, he could have used anybody that he wanted. And
Exactly.
the fact that he wasn't even ready to be in that series, but 50 actually paid for him to go to acting school for 2 years so that he can be the one to play in that role. That was him doing them a favor, absolutely, because he was spending the money to get that to happen. Yeah, and 50 is known for doing that. He did the same. So he's known for having people from a young age and working them up, like Tariq in Power, Michael Rainey Jr. Just actually won an award at the last at the NAACP as well. Also has benefited from 50 Cent really just liking to work with him and, you know, continuing to give him opportunities. And Michael Rainey is treating that differently. You know, he's appreciating that. He's, you know, I think he even sent the jacket that he wore to the NAACP award. He sent it to 50. You know, like Baba, you know, you know, like he's paying a lot of props.
Did you see what 50 Cent said about that? He posted that and said, "Yeah, you never gave me nothing."
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Yayo went on Vlad Sport TV or something, and it was like, man, 50 is crazy, man. Like, if I had 50 money, I wouldn't be involved in all those things, but it's okay. 50 is that kind of guy. But I can also understand from 50's perspective, loyalty is so important. You might say he's paranoid and other stuff, but he got shot 9 times. Like, from people that he knew. You know, like having gone through something like that kind of experience, you can never be too careful. And the fact that 50 went hard on Lil Mitch, and Lil Mitch didn't even wait for 1 year or whatever, the next week he was hanging out with 50's enemy. Lil Mitch could have continued his life. You're right when you said this guy is a bit silly, because he could have just gone on with his life. Why did he have to engage with 50's enemy? Like, he could have stayed out of it and say, that's my dad's mistake or whatever. I'm staying out of it. Even if I'm no longer a part of BMF, let me just focus on my acting career without choosing a side.
Yeah.
Hey, 50, I'm for you, but it's okay. I understand why you are a little bit iffy on this, or why you feel paranoid, or whatever it is. But don't worry, I'm good. But no. He jumped and started hanging out with the enemy, but he didn't just do that. Started publicizing and attacking 50 directly in a sort of way.
Yeah, so it was never wrong then. It wasn't wrong to assume these things.
So to feel like it was
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how you know someone that has enough experience on betrayal and loyalty. Interestingly, people commented on Michael Rainey Jr.'s post like saying, oh, bro, you should have, spoken with Lil Mitch. You should have told him how to handle it better. Michael is a crazy good boy. It was like, oh, I tried. He just wanted to be big brother so much that he didn't listen. Something so like
bad.
That.
Yeah.
So bad, like, like you think you know better.
Yeah, more understanding, even from that perspective also. It can already tell you the kind of guy that this Lil Mitch might be, right? Because you might be older, but Tariq is not he's a senior guy to you when it comes to acting, man.
In the industry.
He's senior guy. Forget about who is younger or who is older. He has been in this game and he has like records of like good movies, man. Yeah. I haven't even seen this Lil Mitch guy. I don't even know what he has done. I've seen Tariq like in different things,
just
right?
a BMF one.
Is that like a TV show on its own? BMF itself?
So that's the TV show that 50 Cent put him on. So he got the right for the BMF TV show. They have done 3 seasons. It's not bad. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. They have done 3 seasons. And that's the one that 50 actually said, go to acting school, paid for him to do that, came back and put him as the lead actor. He played.
Is it the one Mary J, all these people are on, or this? Because I know 50 has a lot of things right now.
The one with Mary J. Blige is the Power. So he has the
Power
BMF
spin-off.
world. He has the Power. That's the Power world, yeah. But that one is with Tariq and what is the name of this white boy as well? That guy is also
Tommy.
super grateful to 50. No. Tommy has his own spin-off from Power as well. But there's a white boy, I forgot his name now, a very good actor as well, that is Tariq's friend in the Power Goes 2 or so. Yeah.
Man, you don't want to cross 50. 50 is this media mogul now that you don't want to do this, man.
That's what I was saying. Like, now that this guy chose a clear side, I wonder what Rick Ross and Mayweather or Floyd would do for him. You're an actor by trade. This is what you have gone to study now. Like, even people that are not directly involved in this thing, they will be a little bit careful to work with you because they'll be worried about getting on the bad side of this mogul called 50 Cent.
Say, by extension, it would be the same thing, right? If anyone that is close to 50, knowing Lil Mitch had this fallout with 50, then still working with 50, he would take it up again. Because this is the same 50 that in an interview, I'm not sure if you saw the interview, they were talking about Tyler Perry's conversation with Tyler Perry and Monique. And they were like, oh, when you said, yeah, Monique and Tyler Perry apparently had this, and it didn't come out publicly to be like, you know what, it's cool between myself and her, and yeah, anyone can work with her. So she lost like, I think 10, 15 years of her life. She went like nothing. No one gave her because she had an issue with a top guy, Tyler Perry. And 50 said he told Tyler that, but you didn't tell anyone to work with her. Because Tyler was like, I didn't tell anyone not to work with her. And 50's response was, exactly, you didn't tell anyone to work with her.
It's important because everyone will be worried of getting on Tyler's bad side because of the rumor that they have an issue. But now this one with Lil Mitch, it's not even a rumor. It's absolutely clear to everyone.
Yeah.
And knowing 50 Cent, bro, F. Gotti died. May his soul rest in peace. And 50 Cent still laughed on his obituary. Like, now you're dead, but it's not over.
This guy is crazy.
So how long? When is Lil Mitch going to be? Oh my goodness! It's the wrong guy.
I don't think forgiving is in his books, man.
I don't think I don't think so. It's just the wrong guy to fuck with. I really hope that there's something in there for his career, but just from the optics and all that stuff, it might be that it's over. At least for his acting career.
We never had any career. 50 Cent tried to give him a career and he messed up. So no love lost. It's not like that was his life goal or something.
It's crazy. yeah, maybe he had other things that he wanted to do, and maybe 50 just forced him to be an actor. Yeah. But anyways, that's it for this episode. We have gone through quite a lot of interesting topics. Looking forward to your comments and reactions to all the videos that we post from this episode. Thank you guys for listening to us. Keep following, liking, subscribing, commenting. We really enjoy your engagement and interaction, and we look forward to the next episode next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere that we're on. Cheers.
Can't we be controversial, bro? I'm trying to make us blow up, man. Is it Roman? Is it Roman? Roman son.